Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So I'm out here today in my shop and I want to do a little talking about the Garmin's. So for years I've been using the Garmin Zumo XT and it's been awesome. And recently I've been using the Garmin Zumo XT2, which is even more awesome. But recently Garmin has released the Garmin Tread 2, which is it's kind of like the Garmin Zumo XT and XT2, only it's more for off-road adventure riding. So we're going to kind of dig into this, take it out of the box, see what's in the box, set it up, and I'm going to stick it on my 300L and check it out. So the Tread 2 is really targeting like off-road vehicles like side-by-sides, Jeeps, things like that, but it's really awesome for adventure riding and dual sport riding also. It also comes loaded with features, including the mapping that you find in the Garmin Zumo XT and the Zumo XT2. However, what you're gaining in this, which is huge, is the preloaded mapping of the USFS, which is U.S. Forestry Service maps, which is the United States Forestry Service roads and trails. So if you've ever downloaded a BDR and used them, which I use a BDR mapping on mine, and I've downloaded the maps, if you'll notice what they do is they actually use the people that make the BDR, which is great. They use a lot of the U.S. Forestry Service trails when they create the BDRs. So when you get this, it's already got the maps preloaded in this, so it's very easy to see the BDR and follow the BDR, which I have done on my Garmin Zumo XT2, and now I want to try it out and see what all is inside the Garmin Tread 2. So one of the cool things too with this will be, normally like when I ride the BDR, I rode the BDR section 1. Well, I'd like to adventure off because there's a lot of other trails that go off the BDR that are just as good or better. Well, all those trails should be loaded into this, which would be really cool. So I'm excited to get this out of the box. Now, as far as disclosure, Garmin sent this thing to me to review. I'm not getting paid an absolute dime for this, other than they sent this for me to review and make videos of. But if you want to check out the link, I will have the links to this on Amazon in the description below. So let's go ahead, take this thing out of the box and check it out, see what's in it and what's involved as far as mounting it. Now, as far as mounting this on my bike, I already have the mount that I just put on for the Garmin Zumo XT2. So I won't actually have to install a mount. If you have a Garmin Zumo XT2, this will clip right onto your mount that you already have. Another thing cool about this already comes with the Y adapter that you would use to put on the handlebar controller, which on my Zumo XT2, I had to have that Y adapter separate in order to make it work. But I love the handlebar controller, but this already has that Y adapter that will work with the handlebar controller, or if you use the group ride radio that Garmin offers. Okay, so here's the box, and the first thing we want to do is go ahead and take it out of the box. Now, it does say that this is a 6-inch Powersport navigator. The Garmin Zumo XT2 is also a 6-inch. Now, the Garmin Zumo XT was a 5.5-inch, so this is larger, just like the Garmin Zumo XT2. Let's take this out of the box. Now, I have not opened the box. So here is the unit itself. The XT2, I know, just had a piece of film over this. This is kind of wrapped in a paper wrapping. We can unwrap this. I guess I can't do it without tearing the paper. So there is the Tread 2 itself, which is pretty cool. Instead of being black like the XT2, here's the XT2 in comparison. Pretty much the same thing, only the XT is all black. This one has this kind of a gray color around it. Power button, speaker, contacts, everything's in the same location. Even down here at the bottom, everything's in the same location. So as far as right here on the bottom, we have a place for a micro SD card. So if you don't have enough memory inside here, if you get too much stuff you want to load onto it, then you can add a micro SD card right there and have all the storage you need. This just pushes back into place like so. Then we open this side up right here. So inside here we have the data port, which is for charging it also, and this is USB-C. Same way, just close the door right here, push it in, just seal it back like that. So let me go ahead and take all this stuff out of the box. Okay, so as far as what we get in the box is the Garmin Tread 2, of course, and we get a Tread 2 manual. We also get a mount. This is a mount for like a big bar to go on, like on a side-by-side or a Jeep or something. You could mount this. And then we also have a smaller clamp, which you could use more like on a motorcycle or even a side-by-side or something that has a smaller diameter bar. And then we have a bushing that goes in here. So we have both of those, two different size mounts. You just would swap this clamp out with the larger one, put the smaller one on if you wanted to. We also get a couple ring terminals to connect it to our battery or our accessory outlet. We also get a USB to USB-C charging cable. We get a 3-amp inline fuse here. We get some cable ties. We get the Garmin Tread 2 mount, which is basically the same thing as a Garmin Zumo XT2. The difference being the standard Zumo XT2 has a different cable. So with this here, you have a choice of either connecting the Garmin handlebar controller or the Garmin Group Ride radio. One or the other could be plugged into that right there. And then here on the other end is our power and ground. We would connect this red wire to a switched power, this black wire to a ground terminal. And then of course we have our ball mount extension. This is a 1-inch ball, just basically like a ram ball that would go here. And the other end of it would go right here. And that's kind of how that would work, depending on how you want to mount it. Okay, so to get started, I went ahead and plugged this into a USB-C so I could get it charging. I'm sure it needs to be charged. We'll go ahead and power it on by holding the power button on the back, which is located right here. We can go ahead and get it powered up. Okay, first thing we want to do is select the United States. That's where I'm located. My language is American English. Accept the end user license agreement. Now the first thing it's going to want to do is connect to your Garmin Tread app. If you don't have the Garmin Tread app, you can go to the App Store, download the one that says Garmin Tread. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go right in here and I want to go to Devices and I want to click Add Device. Connect now. We want to click Pair. It should just pair right up. It says Garmin Tread right there. Pair. Okay. Allow. Very simple. Okay, we're connected. Click Done. Connect to a Wi-Fi network, which is this one right here. I need to enter my password. Got my password entered. I click Done. Click Agree. And there we are. It already shows a motorcycle right there, which is what I want, motorcycle. Select. So this is basically the same layout as the Garmin Zumo XT2. It's just some different colors. Got kind of a topo looking background. Looks pretty cool. Icons and stuff are just a different look to them. But it's pretty much the same thing as far as that. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and check for updates. So we'll click on Settings, click on Updates. And now it's going to check to see if there's any new firmware updates or map updates. We do have new map update and new software update. So it says 3 hours and 30 minutes, but I don't think it'd take that long. But let's go ahead and click Install All and get this over with. Click on Accept All for the end user license agreement. And let's get it updated. We'll be back. Okay, so I have got my update done. It actually only took about 25 minutes once I took it into the house where I have better Wi-Fi. So got that set up. Now this does look a little different as far as it don't have the Where To. It has Group Ride right there in that spot. It does have View Map, which is the same as far as that. If you want to search for a location to go to and use turn-by-turn directions, then you would just click this search. On this search, we can choose near me, near a city, or select a location. We can do it that way. Or we can just do search. So I could search for Exeter, Missouri, which is where I used to live. And once I search it brings up different things here. Choose Exeter, Missouri. Now, when we choose this, we can choose the adventurous button here, and we can choose how adventurous we want it. So it's calculating right now with non-adventurous, which is on number 1. There it's calculated 17 hours and 26 minutes, 1,200 miles. So if we want to be more adventurous and we ride curvy roads, or if we got it set to dirt, it'd even take us on dirt, but we can go to more adventurous. So if we run it way over here on all the way adventurous, let's see what difference it makes. It's going to take a little while to calculate that. And now you can see it's 24 hours and 21 minutes, so a lot longer to get there. 1,369 miles and quite a bit further on the most adventurous But if we want to do it, we could click go.
Please drive to highlighted route.
And then it's just going to navigate us just like the normal, like the Zumo XT2 would. So if we zoom out, we can see the route on here. You see the route going all the way across here. A long ways across there. But we can actually navigate that way just like normal. Click stop on that. As far as when we're viewing the map and selecting the layers, we have some different stuff in here. Like we have the regular driving, satellite imagery, base map. If you do the satellite imagery, you can actually download satellite imagery, which I have downloaded just a little bit while I was in the house, just so I could show it, the satellite imagery. But we can also click on here, put on regular driving. We have different choices here like 3D terrain, adventure roads and trails, campgrounds, public lands, national parks, contour lines, parcels. So if you click on this parcels, which is really cool, now we go back out. So now we're out here, and if we zoom in on all these little shapes, puts all these shapes on here, it will tell us each piece of property and who that piece of property belongs to at the time. You can see the names of the pieces of property on this road. So if we're out somewhere riding and we're wanting to know who owns this land, this could come in pretty handy. Some of them might need to zoom in just a little bit further, but it gives the names of who owns the property. So that is really cool. I really like that feature. When you zoom out on it, it looks more cluttered because you see all those shapes that you normally wouldn't. Like if we go in here and turn off the parcels, then we don't have all those. We have the roads, but we don't have all the parcels showing up in there. But I kind of like the parcels. I think that's a really cool feature. But in here we also have snowmobile trails, topographic, traffic, unsafe tracks, the USFS points, and up ahead places. All of those are in here, which is really cool. I want it back on parcels. And I want to leave it on driving. But very cool. Now, as far as in here in the settings, it's a little different things you can do. Most of this is the same. As far as the vehicle, you can click on the vehicle and it's set to Zumo motorcycle right now, but you can actually change that. If you click this plus right here, you can see that we can select motorcycle, ATV, side-by-side, full size, snowmobile, vehicle with trailer, motorhome with trailer, fifth wheel, or other, which is pretty cool. If you select like motorhome, you can change all the settings in here to match your ground clearance, road use, traction method, whether it's two axles, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or whatever. If you go over here and select side-by-side, you can select the width of your side-by-side, the traction method, and the road use on it. ATV, kind of the same thing. You can select if it's legal, off-highway vehicle, street legal, highway legal. Pretty darn cool. Select the width and you can change the width of your vehicle. But we're on motorcycle. It's not a lot of options in motorcycle, but you really wouldn't need a lot of options. You can choose what you want: street legal, highway legal, off-highway, which mine's a dual sport, so pretty much I want all that. Traction method, 2 wheels or 3 wheels. So we're 2 wheels, leave that alone. And then while you're in here, you can select on next, and you can choose the standard routing you want. Faster time, shorter distance, straight. The Garmin Adventurous routing, you can choose the standard default level, like level 1 I done earlier, which going to Exeter, Missouri was the fastest route. And level 4 was the one that was the longest route. So if you wanted to always be on level 4, then you can select that. I'll just leave it probably on level 1, adventurous, or fastest or faster time. And then, of course, you can manually set it every time whenever you choose a route. So if we go into the settings here and we go to map, then we can choose the vehicle icon, which is different than the Zumo XT2 because we had that motorcycle, but now we have different things in here, different vehicles like RVs. It looks like maybe a Bronco or a Jeep, maybe a Jeep. We have the same motorcycles. We have ATVs in here, side-by-sides. That little truck there may be like a Gladiator or something. So pretty cool. I don't usually use one of the vehicles. I usually use this standard blue arrow. I kind of like it. So we'll just save that as our vehicle icon. In here we can change the map detail. How detailed do you want the maps? I usually leave mine on more. Waypoint labels, we can change that to whether they're small or large or default. I don't know how big you want those labels to be. Click on Map Manager, and this is where we can manage our maps. Like click on Outdoor Maps, and this is where we can download satellite imagery. And you can see I have downloaded a couple near Sierra Vista and near Patagonia. If you want to download satellite imagery, just bring up your map, move to the location that you want to download, like over this way, and then you would click download, and you can see it's starting to download that one. So if you want to use them, because you can view the map, click on here, click on satellite imagery, and now we can actually see the satellite imagery of the map and view in. I like this actually when I'm out somewhere in the forest and I want to see what's around me, like if there's any houses around or any structures that are hidden out in the forest or out in the desert where I'm at, and then I can just bring that up and I can zoom in. And when I do now on this, I can actually see the house here and I can see who owns it because it shows the parcel name right here, or the owner of the parcel. Very cool. So anytime you want to turn that off, just go in your layers, put it back on driving or base map, and that will turn off your satellite imagery. So on here you can also connect an inReach. If you have an inReach device, you can connect that. You do have the track recorder just like on the Garmin Zumo XT2, so you can go out and record your tracks and save them and share them. You can have your music on here and play the music off your phone, which is cool. And then you also have this map manager here, which is where I was earlier. If you click on this button right here, this is our apps. And click on this and there's all kinds of different things you can connect, like the Garmin power switch, if you have one of those, the Garmin cameras, and inReach, the handlebar controller, which I do have on my 300L and I will need to connect, even dog tracking. Different things in here in the apps you can do, even like the weather. You can click on that, shows you the weather. It don't just show you your temperature, it also shows you each day what the temperature will be. If you click on it, you can really see winds 9 to 26 kilometers per hour. Let's back this out. So also when we're in here, we can even click on any of these little things up top, like the temperature right here. If we click on that, it's going to bring up our weather. If we click up our Wi-Fi, there it shows our Wi-Fi connection. Click on our little motorcycle icon right there, and we can change that. Click on our time, we can change the time. So if we click on our Bluetooth, right there, shows our Bluetooth, our phone connected. If we click on this signal strength meter right here, then it's going to show us our satellites, sky view, and show us our accuracy. I'm actually inside the building right now, so it's not going to be very good. Accuracy within 21 feet, not too bad. Let's go graph view, and we can see a graph of it instead if you don't want the sky view. So a lot of cool options in this. I really like this. We just need to put this on the bike and try it out. But for now, that was a video showing the basic setup of the Garmin Tread 2 6-inch Powersport Navigator. Now I'm going to take and stick this on the bike and show you that it connects just like my Garmin Zumo XT2. Okay, so as far as putting it on here, it's just like your Garmin Zumo XT2. And you can even use the same mount, which I have here. Take this little dust protection cap off right here. And then we'll just snap it into place like so. And the first thing it's going to come up with is the handlebar controller, because I do have the handlebar controller here. Super cool. So it's already showing it is connected, obviously. We'll just have to see if it works. I didn't even have to pair it, I don't guess. Let's put it on the map. Yeah, so it's already working. So I normally would have to pair this, I thought, but obviously because I had it connected, it's already set up. I had it connected on my XT2, or this automatically recognizes it and sets it up. So, and the remote is something that I really like, because I can just sit here with my fingers, zoom in and out. I can save the location where I'm at. I can turn on my bird's eye satellite imagery just by clicking the button right here. Super cool. So that's really awesome. I didn't have to connect it, but it's easy to connect anyway if you did have to. So super simple. Looks really cool. Let's click on this. See, I can save my spot right there. Shows the waypoint is saved, which we don't necessarily need to save it. So this handlebar controller is something I really wanted on the dual sport, just because mainly when I'm off-road, it's a lot rougher out there, and it's a lot more dangerous taking your hand off the handle grip in order to go over here and push buttons on your Garmin. And with this, it's just very nice. I can still be hanging on to my handlebar. I can zoom in and out, save location, you know, turn on the bird's eye. So very cool. So that's it for the Garmin Tread 2. Very cool. I want to take this out and actually compare it probably in a later video to the Garmin Zumo XT2, and I will actually put both of them on here and we can compare the maps and see what differences there is. But very cool. That was just the initial setup, showing taking it out of the box, setting it up, getting it ready to go, and sticking it on my motorcycle. If you need an install video, I will have the link here where you can click on and you can go see my install video for the Garmin Zumo XT2 mount, which is exactly the same as this one pretty much. Thank you all for watching. Click the thumbs up, subscribe, click that bell icon. You'll be notified when I put out a new video, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Right on.